Shalom Aleichem, everyone. In honor of Chanukah, we'll say a vart on the Yom Tov of Chanukah. The Gemara tells us in Shabbos, Chaf Aleph Amud Beis, Tan Rabbanon, Ner Chanukah mitzvah lanicha al Pesach Beisay mibachutz, that a person should light his menorah by the entrance of his house outside, in order to get Presumei Nisa, in order for people to see it. So if he lives in an attic, he should light it by his window, so this way people from the outside could see his menorah. Ubeshas hasakana, and beshas a sakana, where it's dangerous for people to see his menorah, because the guy made a rule that Yidden are not allowed to light menorah. Manicha shulchane v'dayai, leave it on your table, and that would suffice. I would like to suggest a pshat in this Gemara al derech Josh, based on the Mishnah in Avos. The Mishnah says in Avos, Parak Beis, Mishnah Beis, Ram Gamliel ben Yishua b'Yehuda Anasi Yomer, Yafet Talmud Torah derech Eretz. It's good for a person to learn together with being busy with a livelihood, with derech Eretz. Why? Because being busy with both of these things will lead a person to not sin. Mishkachas avain, he'll forget about sin if he's busy with Torah and derech Eretz. V'chol Torah she'ein ima melacha, and any Torah that does not have with it melacha, seifa b'teila. Eventually, it will not last such a Torah. A Torah that doesn't have together with it melacha will be batal. V'gereres avain, says the Mishnah, and it will actually cause sin. Says the Rav over here on the Mishnah, v'im toimar. Why don't you just say that a person, yehi amol b'Torah tamid, a person should be always busy with Torah, even double busy with Torah. And through that busyness with Torah, he won't sin. Why does Mishnah say, learn and do malacha, so this way you won't sin? Why don't you just learn double, and then you also won't sin? You're busy the same amount of time. Says the Rav, this is why the Mishnah continued and said that any Torah that does not have with it melacha will be batal. Because a person is not able to learn if he does not have mezainas. So if a person doesn't have parnasa, if a person doesn't have a livelihood, he won't be able to sustain himself. He won't have mezainas, he won't have what to eat. And if the person does not have what to eat, he will not be able to learn either. Al derech emein kemach in Torah. That a person does not have food, he cannot learn. A person needs koyach to learn, and a person needs energy to learn, strength. And if a person does not have a livelihood, does not have pashat parnasa mezainas, he will not have the ability to learn. And that's what the Mishnah is telling us by saying that if a person, all Torah she'ein ima melacha, seifa b'teila v'gereres avan, then he'll become a battling because he won't be able to learn. It doesn't work. So it'll become gereres avan, the Mishnah says. So maybe you could say that there were people throughout the Dairis that really learned really without mezainas. You had Yidden like Rabbi Arnli Pштaimen, he ate, I think, 2 potatoes every day. Chaim Kanievsky had a similar diet. There were tzaddikim that ate mamish minimal, and they really learned all day long. They were not Isaac in melacha by any stretch of the imagination, to say the least. The Mishnah is telling us most people, however, cannot sustain themselves with such an haga, and it's going to lead to pashat batlanos. So maybe we could say this is pshat in our brisa over here. The brisa said, Tan Rabbanan, Ner Chanukah mitzvah lanicha al Pesach Beisay. Person should light his Ner Chanukah by the door of his house, which is far away from his shulchan. We know that the Gemara in Bava Basra tells us, Haroitze sheyachkim yadrim. Person who wants chachma should daven towards the south. V'simanich menorah shebedarim. The siman is that the menorah was in the south of the Beis HaMikdash. The menorah is merames to chachmas ha-Torah. The menorah gives off ar, and Torah is called the ar, as the pasuk Mishnah tells us, ner mitzvah v'Torah ar. So the menorah is meramis to chachmas ha-Torah. And the Gemara over there in Bav Basra continues, Haroitz sheyashir yatzpin, someone who wants parnasa, should face towards the north. Simanech shulchan shebetzafen. The shulchan in the Beis HaMikdash, where the lechem hapanim was placed, was in the north, and the lechem hapanim, the shulchan, is merames to ashirus over here. So the Mishnah is telling us, yeah, in a perfect world, you could light your ner Chanukah bachutz, far away from the shulchan, and that will be fine. But b'shas ha-sakana, if it's going to be a sakana for you to separate your Torah from your shulchan, your Torah from your parnasa, you want to only have Torah she'ein ima melacha, Torah without a shulchan. If that's a sakana, then bring your Torah to your shulchan. Menicha shulchanai v'dayai. Put your Torah on your shulchan and that'll be enough. Dahainu, that will allow a person to have the proper nourishment, mezainis, which will allow him to learn Torah. You know, the Mishnah says the main kamachin Torah. It's hard for a person to learn Torah without mezainis. So the verse over here is telling us, Shas sakana manicha shulchanei v'dayai. Put your Torah together on your shulchan, and that will be enough. That will allow a person to learn Torah. Afreilich in Yom Tif.